Hi, Lawrence.
Hello, hi.
We have 15 minutes to get to know you. Are you ready?
Of course.
Okay, let's go. All right, tell us, who are you as a person?
I'm a father and an executive. I've lived most of my life overseas, traveled on an expatriate program with Sony Electronics. I've lived in the Middle East, Dubai, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and even India. That was about 14 years of my life with Sony. And at about 2008, I decided to start my own camera manufacturing facilities out in Shenzhen, China. So I've always, I've never lost my Singapore identity, but I've gained quite a lot of global awareness, comparing and contrasting my home with the places that I've lived in. Yeah, both my kids were born in Dubai,
Oh, wow.
and they also have a unique perspective to the Singapore that they have come to know as well.
I understand. So why politics and why now?
I've always been interested in politics. I've looked at politics because, especially in the trade and manpower side, the various countries, cities that I've lived in have their own different approach to these two very important ministries. So I can understand that with their given condition, their approach to manpower and trade policies can impact their GDP and from then impact their social fabric as well.
Understand. So previously you spoke about Dubai and China.
Yes.
Like in your professional experience, how have those experiences, maybe shaped the way you think today?
Especially in Dubai. Now, the UAE is a very central part of the Middle East, and they look after their own locals. They call themselves the locals. And the government, which essentially is a kingdom, will then protect its own people using very unique, extremely unique trade policies, business policies. In that, for example, it was during my time there, you can't start a company, you can't start an organization if you must find a local to be a majority partner of that organization, and then from then you start your business, and then you must be able to pay them according to how the organization works and all that. So I was curious at how that policy was at that time now, because I come from a place that doesn't have such a policy. Singapore is a very open economy, very open. We are price takers. We don't get to dictate any sort of terms and conditions as such lah. So it is so coming from that place, it became quite jolting for me to understand how they how their manpower policies are like. Yes.
So when looking at that and relating it back to policy, I guess my question to you is, why not join the PAP? Why choose opposition? And the second part to that question is, why the PSP among all the other opposition parties?
I've often been asked that question, why I did not join the PAP and all that, given my ecosystem in my last work, my job at the Manufacturing Federation. I have to work very closely with the government side. But it was very distinct to me that working with the Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Manpower is not working with the PAP. The PAP is a political party as such. Yeah. Okay. So, but the civil servants that work at the ministries, they are not politically aligned nor inclined. A lot of them are not. They do their job as civil servants, and they do it very, very well. And to a large extent, I thank them for their service. It's not an easy job to be a civil servant, especially when you go up the ladder and you are in a position of management and responsibility. I didn't think about joining the PAP, I guess largely because I thought that in terms of diminishing returns, being at the opposition side, I would probably be able to play a more active, a more real role, being part of the opposition. I hold the view that regardless of what t-shirt I wear, I am able to contribute. I'm able to contribute. I've had that conversation with the minister when he realized that I was wearing the PSP t-shirt and walking around with the residents, engaging them, serving them. And I remember very clearly to him that I said to him that I don't see that it really matters what t-shirt that I wear, as long as I do that job for that resident, that engagement. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second part of the question was why PSP?
Oh, because I met up with Leong Manuai in a very coincidental situation, and then we got to know each other. He got to know my background a little bit and asked me to immediately meet up with Dr. Tan. And we started to talk at the doc's house, and it was a very pleasant encounter. The most important thing was that we were able to discuss things like values and purpose. And I think that left me with a very deep sense of common purpose that I felt with the two men. Manwai is 10 years older than me, and Doc is 20 years older than him. So I think that it felt real. It felt very real and very organic that three men of that different age gap, I guess. I wouldn't say generation, but we're able to feel, I guess, that common purpose.
Okay. So if you get elected into parliament, what are some of the key concerns or issues that you will raise up in parliament?
Well, I guess my exposure, my strength, my value to my residents would always be in the area of trade, industry, manpower issues like jobs and wages, all which are mutually exclusive. And I think that the youth of today, the generation, the young ones now, my kids included, one's 26, the other one 23, and I think that they have concerns. After graduation, they are worried about will they be able to find a job of their dreams, of their liking, and something that they can find fulfillment with. And then, of course, the second thing is housing. They will be thinking about, at some point, leaving the nest and finding their own place and all that. So all these are very much related to jobs, wages, and the manpower policies here that we have in Singapore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know that you've spoken quite a bit about minimum wage on other platforms. Could you just briefly explain it to our audience here today?
Yeah. Okay. So very quickly, I think that the Singaporeans are not exposed to what is a minimum wage. It's not been clearly explained to us. Our manpower ministries have other policies in place. So, however, I'm of the opinion that, especially since 2018, that given the rapid pace of technological advancements and also the social media and all that, I think that it is very important that we have a minimum wage in place. The purpose of a minimum wage are many, but it has to be applied only under certain circumstances. So I think that the ability to keep up with inflation and also the rising cost of living is a very important one. We don't have a minimum wage in Singapore, so we don't have a specific mechanisms besides what? Vouchers, more vouchers to keep up with inflation. I don't think that's the right thing to do. A minimum wage will become legislated. It will become structurally ingrained into our manpower policy and all that. Yeah. So I think it is something which I hope that the government will undertake a feasibility study into.
All right. That's good to know you on a more personal level as well.
Yeah.
As an individual, what is one value or belief that you have that is important to you?
I think that being able to uh, be real, be clear with our residents is important, and not try to beat around the bush, especially with them. A lot of our policies are complicated and not very well explained to our residents and all that. So I think that in the event that I am elected into parliament, that is one thing that I will try to do. I will try to explain things simply to my residents, although they could be complicated policies and all that. My role in the Manufacturing Federation involves me representing my members, explaining things to them, and explaining things for them to the ministries as well. It's a very interesting and difficult skill set. It's not as easy as it seems. So I think I can bring that to serve my residents in Parliament.
All right, that's clear. If you get elected into Parliament, is there a particular sector or community that you're hoping to represent?
Surprisingly, I think that mental healthness,
Yes.
mental wellness is an area which I think that our young population, young residents, is something that I think that they struggle a little bit with that. I think, but I applaud Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. He put a budget. He put a budget into, I think, his first fiscal budget. I think that was 2 years ago, and it was something which was very new. It was there was never a budget for mental wellness, and he was able to recognize that. He spoke about that in his budget speech, and I felt very encouraged by Prime Minister Lawrence Wong at that time. Yeah.
All right. Tell me about the Singapore that you're hoping to build.
A more resilient one. A more resilient one. One that is able to withstand upcoming turbulence in a geopolitical uncertain world. I think that that's what I want. I want a more resilient Singapore. That Singaporeans are a lot more aware of what their choices are, and that they have no fear, that we treat each other with respect, that we are one Singapore, one Singaporean first, above and beyond what party t-shirt we wear.
And in your view, what kind of leaders do we need in order to help Singaporeans become more resilient?
More values-driven leaders are important. Values which are that will promote the resilience that I'm talking about. That they are able to understand that there are more things that unites us than divides us. Because sometimes divisions can be pronounced, whereas those things which unites us are quite kept at the background. Sometimes we forget that, and I think that sometimes, like I meet Minister Tan See Leng very regularly now within this 1 or 2 weeks. We know each other back in the day, and we treat each other with a lot of respect, and I'm very happy about that. At the end of the day, we're still friends. Yeah.
Now, you speak of being values driven.
Yes.
Maybe we can boil it down to what kind of values they are. Like, what are some of the values that you think are important for the leaders to be able to uphold?
I think being able to overcome and take care of overcome difficulties, and values like being real to each other. I think that is something not to be taken for granted. Yeah. Simple as it may be.
Yeah.
And always constantly looking for what is the truth and what is what we should be aware of. Always be hungry for information. Yeah. Always be aware of what's around us and what's coming towards us. It's especially important for a place like Singapore. We are very small and we're very open. Yeah.
All right. And my final question to you is, why should the young Singaporeans in your constituency consider supporting you or voting for you this election?
Especially for the first-time voters, like my kids, this coming election, I hope that they will look upon me and know that I've spoken to my kids. about political values and how they should vote, why they should vote in that particular way. So what kind of values should guide their decision whether to vote for the opposition or for the ruling party?
All right, thank you so much.